is not mine. I don't think he's yours. Matter of fact, I don't think he's anybody's. What's up, guys? It's Friday. It's actually Friday today, August 2nd, 2024. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 855,136. TikTok, next block. It is actually Friday today. All day long yesterday, I thought it was Friday because it was my daughter's birthday, which is like a celebration, like a Friday. I got my hair cut yesterday thinking it was a Friday. I get my haircuts on Fridays usually. And I proceeded throughout the day thinking it was a Friday, like a dumbass. Which, I think that's my middle name. Anyways, guys, hope everybody's well. Hope everybody had a good week and ready for the weekend. I was just recording this video for about a minute and a half, so I had to do my opening and everything else over again. And somebody walks up to me while I'm recording and says, "Hey man, do you have a TikTok channel or something?" I said, "Well, if I did, you just interrupted it." I said, no, I got a YouTube channel. And we started talking, and he took offense to my shirt. And that's okay, because I welcome all oncomers. And when these people come up to me, and again, when I wear shirts like this, I would say 70% of the time when I get a reaction, it's pretty good reactions, actually. I have people actually want to take pictures with me. Probably 90% of the time because of the shirt. The other 5 to 10% I think is because a couple of people have watched my channel or something like that, and they've heard me. And you know, I'm a local dude, and pretty much a lot of people know me around here, and I've told them to follow my channel or whatever. But the other 30%, let's just say we don't have the most friendly conversations. Okay, I'll just say that. And this last one I'm talking about, this guy definitely wasn't a friendly conversation. And you know, I'm a non-violent guy. I don't try to start nothing. But what's the saying say? Don't start no, won't be no. Well, don't start with me. And he didn't. He he was kind of respectful, but you know, he has his stance. And I don't know what I'm gonna name this video. Probably why and how we got to get rid of this woke stuff. But basically what he was saying was, how can you say Joe Biden is not our president when he's literally our president? That's what he started off with. And I said, okay, let's go there. And I'm not going to waste a video telling you everything I said, but let's just say common sense ain't common. And I'm beginning to think that I feel like I'm like Albert Einstein or something talking to these people. And again, I ain't no smart dude, right? But I feel like I do have a lot of common sense. I'm not very book smart. Am I street smart? Kinda. I'm definitely more street smart than I was in my 20s because I made a lot of mistakes and stuff like that, and you learn with age. And with me personally, I grew up kind of funny, right? I grew up in the 80s. I was born in 1975, and I grew up with my grandparents along with my grandmother's kids, my grandparents' kids. They had 7 kids. And the younger ones grew up with me. They were 16 and 17 years old, my aunties. And they are baby boomers, my aunts, my uncles, and my mom and dad. I didn't grow up with my mom and dad, but I grew up with my dad's parents. And my grandparents, they are, you know, they were born in the late 20s and the early 30s. My grandfather, 1928 specifically, my grandmother, 1931. And they were from the silent generation. And you know what the silent generation was taught? That kids remain silent, and I was taught that. So I was raised by the silent generation like a baby boomer, but I kind of grew up with baby boomers, with them being like a big brother / authority figure over me. Plus, add in, I'm a Generation X, and you know how Generation X are. So when you hear me talking, let's just say my grandma didn't take no shit, and neither do I, okay? And again, I'm not no tough guy or nothing like that. I'm not saying that, but you know, the truth will set you free, ladies and gentlemen. And this dude is talking to me, and I have many conversations with friends, family members, strangers, subscribers, haters, whatever. And I've come to the conclusion that these people, and I may make a video specifically about Democrats, but overall, again, these people are in a bubble. They're not the smartest people, not as far as like their job or anything like that. I'm not going to call anybody stupid, but they're just very easily led, okay? And common sense, again, is not common. And this woke stuff, I have a shirt. It's called Awake, Not Woke. And I'm trying to teach everyone that being woke is not awake. They think that being woke, because I think that came out in the 2010s, early 2000, I think it was 2010, when the black community basically woke up to whatever. It's like a urban thing or something, and then it went all into what it is today, just the mind virus that it is today. That's what Elon Musk calls it, the mind virus. That it has morphed into something that has utterly corrupted our society. I believe that. I told you earlier that my grandmother had 7 kids. Now, 7 kids for the silent generation wasn't a lot of kids, to be honest. I have great aunts and uncles that had more than 7 kids, you know, and there's people that I know that are older, you know, in the silent generation that had 10, 11, 12 kids. And then before that, they had more kids. Why are we not having more kids today? Well, that has to do with the woke mind virus. And what Elon Musk means by the woke mind virus, and I love that he said that he was tricked, because I think he has 10 or 11 kids now. I think one of them passed away. But he said that he lost his son, not the one that passed away, but the one that I'm talking about now. He lost his son due to the wokeness during 2020, when he thought that he was I think he was born a boy and thought he was a girl. And then they told him, Elon Musk, which he didn't do any research on at the time he was working, and there wasn't a lot of stuff that's out now in mid to late 2024 like it is now, about, you know, all these, you know, what are they? I think they're hormone blockers and all these things that these kids, they indoctrinate them to take. And he ended up taking it, and now his son is pretty much messed up. You guys know the story about that. And he is highly upset, and I don't blame him, man. I was saying this yesterday in the video. Don't mess with a man's kids or a man's women, and they're doing both. The woke mind virus is not only indoctrinating kids with this virus in school, because they're not getting educated, they're getting indoctrinated, but they're hurting children, and they're hurting women, and they're also hurting young men and older men, because a lot of these men are being emancipated. Basically, they're getting their nuts cut off from them, literally and figuratively. That men are becoming soy boys, weak-minded, weak bodies. They don't stand up for anything, and that's exactly what they want. And I'm talking about the people that are in charge of all this crap. And that's why when you see so many kids coming out as gay and transgender, and I don't know if I'm a lesbian, I don't know if I want to be a boy, I don't want to be a girl, am I bisexual? Why do you think that stuff came about all of a sudden now? Was it like that when you were growing up? I know most of you guys, probably 80, 90% of you are younger than me. I didn't know any gay people when I went to school in the 80s and 90s. I didn't. Maybe every once in a while you run across one or two, but I've never ever talked about in a sexual manner if I wanted to have any kind of stuff like that with a boy, or if I thought I was a girl. I didn't know anybody that thought that way. I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way, but if you haven't, if you didn't, you know, leave it in the comment section if you're, you know, close to my age. Oh, and also too, back to my my mix. I'm also millennial too, because millennials were born in 1981, and everything that a millennial has gone through, I've gone through the same things. I'm only 6 years older than them, because again, I'm a young Generation X, almost to millennials, so everything they've been through. So I'm a mix between all that stuff, and the young millennials and the ones that's down from them are getting intoxicated with this mind virus. And the parents that are my age and a little bit younger, millennials, that are going for this with these kids, shame on them. And when you have these male boxers, because now they're saying the two males, there's 2 guys now in the Olympics that they were really born women. They have women genitals, I guess, allegedly. Again, I don't know, and I don't fucking care. Okay, nobody should, unless they're doing a sport against a man. Who cares what your genitals are? Just stay away from women. They're saying, well, they're not really men, because, you know, they have women's genitals and they have XY chromosomes. They have XY chromosome, but they don't have genitals. But it's funny when the wokesters say the sex organs don't count. It doesn't matter when they're doing their argument, meaning a woman's genitals and a man's genitals. I can't even say this without fucking laughing. doesn't mean anything when it comes to who you are. And if you haven't watched I think it's Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is What Is a Woman movie, documentary. Man, that's so good, man. And again, for us to even have to be talking about this and making a movie like this, like that, it's a shame. It's a crying shame. And it goes against everything, every fiber in my body, and I can't stand for it. Now, again, I'm an older gentleman. I'll be 50 years old in January, and I don't know how much time I have left here. And I could easily just pack up, tuck my nuts in, not say anything, be a bitch, and just sit back and say, oh, who cares, blah, 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 which a lot of men are doing, and a lot of men are falling for it. I would never do it. We have to stop this woke mindset, this woke mind virus, this woke bullshit, because our kids and our grandkids are going to be in a world that they're slowly transforming into now, that you could see, that is going to make us weak as hell, controlled by the government, not have any kids, lower the population. We're going to be in all kind of wars. We're going to be on central bank digital currencies because you're going to be depending on the government. You're not going to stand up for anything because you're going to be too weak-minded to say anything. You're going to be too weak in your body to fight back. And your women, most of the time, are going to tell you what to do because they're more of a man than some of these men are. And I'd be damned if I leave that kind of world to my great-grandkids or my grandkids without me standing up for it and fighting for it. And I tell you guys this all the time. It really started in 2020, like the overt obviousness in your face stuff, but it was starting before that. They started before that. And when you're in your rocking chair, in 30 years or 40 years or 50 years, however old you are, what are you going to tell your grandkids when they say, hey, what the hell happened in 2020? What did you do about it? You're going to say, oh, I just sat back and, I just chilled out. And, it's up to us to stand and stop this stuff and stand up and fight for it. If your priorities are God, family, country, even if it's not God, I know every single one of you guys listening to this is part, maybe a little bit religious, but maybe believe in a higher power. But every single one of you love your family, period. And you would die for your family, wouldn't you? Of course. That's why you leave stuff for your family. That's why when you die, you have a will in place and things like that, because you want your family to be taken care of. Well, it ain't all about money, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. It's about what's the world they're going to live in with that money you're leaving them. Who gives a shit about the money? Now, don't get me wrong. I love Bitcoin. I do. And I think that's going to help. But I'm not going to leave my children and my grandchildren a bunch of Bitcoin or Satoshis when they're all slaves to the system. Not monetarily, they won't be, but mentally and physically they will be, and spiritually they will be. And I'll be damned if I let it happen on my watch. So that's why we need to stop it, because all those things. Now, how do we stop it? Well, I wear shirts like this. Number one, not to be trying to be standing out or nothing like that. I welcome conversations about this kind of stuff. I encourage conversations like this. I tell these woke people all the time when they come up to me talking about their pronouns and talking about this and that. I stop them in their tracks. I say, look, man, I don't speak wokenese. I don't speak that bullshit. I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I refuse. I will never accept that. And if you're at a job that you have to talk to people or address people, Jesus, with the pronoun game, I would suggest you would highly think about leaving that job. And I would never in my life, never call somebody a him or her and all this other stuff. If I see a man dress up as a woman, I'm gonna say, what's up, man? What's up, bro? What's up, dude? How you doing, sir? I'll never address him as a woman, because you're not. That's why. I can see my blood pressure going up. We have to protect our women, okay? We have to. Again, you do it by standing up and not going for it. Don't buy or support or put your time, energy, or money into these woke companies. That's why I said boycott the fucking Olympics. That's just the start. You know, when Target did that bullshit 2 years ago, I never went to Target after that. Bud Light, all that stuff, anything that does any kind of wokeness, commercials, or they promote it or anything like that, we got to stop them in their tracks. Period. You have to do everything you can to fight for this, fight against this. Again, this is an information war. This is a mind war. This is a spiritual war. It's a culture war. And we can't win it sitting on our hands on the couch. You can't. You got to stand up to this bullshit. So whatever your talents are, whatever your passions are, whatever it is, use them to fight against this shit. I'm serious, man. Don't just sit around and say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. I talk to people all the time that are against this kind of stuff that say that to me. Oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. Really? You can't save your family and stand up for your family? What if a dude come over right now and try to mess with your kids? What are you going to say? You're going to say the same bullshit? Or would you stand up and die for your kids like that firefighter did in Pennsylvania? God rest his soul, man. And I hope I'm brave enough to do something like that. He jumped over his family to save his wife and his 2 kids from a bullet. It doesn't have to be a bullet to save your family. It doesn't have to be a physical attack. They're doing something worse. They're putting a mind virus in your children to pass down to their children and their children after them. You got to stop this shit now, man. And the only way to do it is to stand up. You stand up for what you believe in. You read your Bible. I talk to my grandmother and my father every day. They're both passed away. And I ask them if they're proud of me and if I'm doing them right. I don't know if I am or not. My grandmother gave everything for me. And if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't be looking at this guy today. So I want to be the same inspiration for my grandkids. And I want you to be the same information for your, I want you to be the same inspiration for yours. We got to fight for our religious beliefs, God. We got to fight for our family. We got to fight for this country. And the only way to do it is stand up and refuse to accept this stuff, man. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And again, guys, despite all that, despite what they say or what they do and all that, I don't accept it, period. I do not accept it. I've never drank alcohol in my life. And I bring this up because I refuse to put that in my body. Not because I'm better than anybody else. It's just something that I've never done in my whole life. I've never took a sip of alcohol. If somebody hands me an alcohol and says, hey, here, in order for you to keep your job or do this or do that, drink this. I don't break that for nobody, man. And that's not even nowhere near as important as God is to me, as my family is to me, and my country is to me. So if that's the case, why the fuck would I drink this Kool-Aid they're trying to give me? I would never drink it. And I hope and pray you'll never drink it either. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.